All right, guys, we got an interesting one today. This one is some advanced techniques, and this goes along with the post that we covered recently about the complaining your way to success. I think that this post actually inspired the post that we just covered, which again, I've covered in my own videos about this technique in the past. But anyways, let's go to this post called Advanced Tips for Manifesting. Hey guys, I wanted to share some of my personal tips that I use to speed things up, or when something has complicated circumstances, or when I just feel like having more fun in the process. Now, these are more advanced things, although they're super simple. I don't recommend them for people who are just starting, because the core of these is being in the state and having absolute faith in the law and one's abilities, being able to detach and play with the fabric of reality. So for those who still struggle with the quality of their scenes or have issues getting into the state, this might be tricky. When I manifest, my way of doing it is by straight away getting in the state that has the desire. I can do it easily because I have 13 years of acting experience and I write novels and plays. For me, creating embodying characters is very easy. Now let me spill the tea. 1, instead of manifesting my desire, I manifest a fake desire that the version of me that has the desire would have. LOL, such a weird sentence. Let me break it down. Let's say I want a boyfriend back. The state that wants the boyfriend back doesn't have the boyfriend, obviously, so she does sats and techniques to get a text or date or whatever. What I do is I get so much in the state that has the boyfriend, then because I naturally start thinking like her, I can't possibly be doing sats for a text when truly in the state it feels weird and counterproductive somehow. So from that state, I see what she wants and I do my sats or affirmations for that. Like she would want him to take her on a trip or give her his credit card for a shopping spree or whatever silly thing, and I do sats for that desire. And it works. It even makes things faster. I tried it multiple times and it keeps on giving, and it's so fun to make up random stories like that. Okay, interesting. I think the second point too is along the lines of the complaining. So I created drama. In my imagination, I find it more entertaining to have drama than the stoic, happy, perfect image. I actually did this on my first manifestation when I did get my man back. He was a heavy drinker, so I imagined that he got so drunk and we were at our house, didn't have one, but I was married to him in my mind. And then the house staff called me in and told me he was locked up in the cellar drinking, and I, like a hero, went there and rescued him. Ha ha. Ha. I do these to keep myself entertained while manifesting, because when you do it over and over, it becomes boring. And when I first did this, it took 2 days for him to come back despite 2 months of ghosting me and a third party. I also did number 1 as well. 3, I complain. Okay, no, this is the actual complaining. In my head, I create fake people and fake situations and I complain. Like, for example, I want a car. Instead of thinking I have the car, which I wouldn't be thinking if I had it because I don't go around saying I have a phone when I obviously have one. So what I did was I created a fake situation in which my car was being repainted to this fake Matuz guy who is the one doing the work, and in my head I go like, geez, why is it taking him so long to wrap it? Or he sent me a video, it's only halfway done. I don't like the way the color turned. Maybe I should ask him to change it, but will he charge me for that? It's so stupid. They shouldn't charge for it. I'll take my car and never work with them again. The fun thing is that these keep me immersed in the state so I don't slip off of it, and it makes the process fun. And I think because of things seem to move faster when I do that versus the usual sats for the actual desire. I wanted to share these and see if you guys have any fun ways or more advanced ways of getting your manifestations. I have a more fun but drastic things, especially for money, but I won't share them because I'm afraid somebody might do them in the wrong state and get themselves in trouble. So these will remain secret, at least for now. I'm curious to hear your takes and how you personalize the experiences for yourself. All right, so people are saying, yes, I love seeing so many different feelings incorporated into a scene. Fantastic way to persist in the state of your desired reality. Brilliant stuff. So somebody said, LMAO, these are some things I've done too. When I was in my SP situation, I used to imagine where we could go on a trip or an original date together, or how we could split chores at home. Also, I sometimes visualize us having the kinds of arguments you only have with a significant other. I knew I couldn't be the only one. He's giving me so many flowers, it's bothering my allergies. Okay, my current problem is I have the money, but in cash, it's a great annoyance to carry it or get change wherever needed. But it's a problem that implies I've got the money. Yeah, so Neville once shared a story where a guy wanted to paint his house or buy a new house. He imagined complaining about how the paint is still wet and how he's irritated with the smell of the paint in his mind repeatedly. Soon his desire was fulfilled. Arguments, complaining definitely manifest, and they are natural for us. My negative arguments have always manifested, so I applied them for my desires. It's how I got my car, job, tours, friends, mom's health manifested. Wow. There's also a story where a man was annoyed because he had to wait in line at his bank to deposit a big check. It's in Neville's lecture, Be Master of the Mood. Exactly. I did that first for that reason, because we all have some weird acceptance to negativity, and think perfect lives are unachievable. So I just made myself complain about having a perfect life. LOL. This way. The complaints department of my brain can get busy too, instead of bitching how I am lying to myself. That's an interesting point. Yeah, it's almost like it keeps that part of the mind busy and occupied, so that you're not, like this person said, thinking, oh, I'm lying to myself. There's always for some weird reason, the human mind is drawn to these stories, these kind of like, yeah, dramatic things, negative arguments, whatever. And so if you divert your attention to complaining about how perfect your life is becoming, it's a really interesting way to bypass that tendency of the mind, the monkey mind, the devil on the shoulder, so to speak, whatever you want to call it. But there is that aspect of the mind that just tends towards negativity for whatever freaking reason. I've said before, I think it's part of it is our hardwiring, that we're always looking for negative things. It's like part of our survival. But yeah, I mean, that's just, if you can frame things up as like every time that you notice yourself getting into a complaining sort of state where you start to complain about things, if you can shift the complaints that you're already like have momentum complaining, just with how good things are, or complaining about something that hasn't, like for example the car thing, like, yeah, they're just taking forever, like, oh, the bank isn't even open today. I got this massive check. I'm trying to deposit this check, but the bank's not open, or I'm gonna have to wait in line to deposit this check. There's just so much money in the account. There's so much money that needs to be deposited. It's just a lot. Any way that you think of, and getting creative, maybe even writing some of these ideas down, would actually be a valuable exercise, because this can get the brain going, and especially when you start getting into like the rhythm or the flow, or actually start having fun with this, this can put you on a really good frequency, where even though you are technically complaining, the emission, the frequency that you're putting out, it's like you're having fun complaining. And it's so interesting to me that, you know, people are so into the drama and the like for example on reality TV, or just like dramatic situations. I don't know, like there's this part of me, like I like movies too. I like stories, and I like, obviously, stories. What makes a good story is that conflict and the resolution of the conflict at the end. Like there's, you know, the hero, and then they have to fight the battle and all this stuff, right? I like stories just as much as the next person, but it's really fascinating to me how much into drama some people are, because I don't personally enjoy it. I want peace, especially in my relationship, especially with my friends. I don't want to have conflict with people in my life. But it's very interesting to me how much people go to that. People just revert to that. So it's very cool that if you have that and you know that that's a thing for you anyway, then divert it into complaining about something that is so mild that, let's say, yeah, like for the SP thing, oh, like my I can't believe they forgot that it was I mean, for the thing that pops into my head right now is I can't believe they forgot it was my birthday, or I can't believe they forgot it was our anniversary or whatever. And like, if those things are a big deal to you, maybe that wouldn't work for you. But for me, if the real end goal is that you want this person in your life, them happening to forget that it was your birthday or forgetting to get you a gift or something is much preferred to not having the person in your life at all, right? So, those are just a couple examples that come to mind. But they didn't maybe it's like they didn't get the right cake for your birthday, or they didn't they didn't get the right flavor, right? Those types of things. Or maybe it's even just that it was the bakers that messed it up. It wasn't even your SP's fault, right? So there's ways that you can tailor this to that you have this loving, great, harmonious relationship with this person. You don't have to make the conflict of the relationship itself. Like this, they're giving examples of like arguments and drama that you'd have with the person. But if you're the type of person like me that doesn't want to have conflict in your relationship, then you could make it be about the other circumstance that's arising, right? It could be that you guys are on a trip somewhere and the hotel had to put you in a different room. They had to upgrade your room. You can find things that are just they're by natural happenstance of the visualization or of the complaint. It is already encompassing the fact that you have this great relationship, right? The hotel, that when you're on a trip, a vacation with your significant other, and the room isn't available and they have to upgrade your room, or they upgrade you both to first class on your flight, or they're giving you free drinks on your flight, which has happened to me before, funny enough, it's already a foregone conclusion. It's already a given that you're with your significant other. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be this dramatic, like, clashing in the relationship for you to kind of use this approach. So that's what I want to kind of like impart right here. And, if you guys have any examples, like, drop them down below. I'd be really, really curious, and it'd be fun too. This is a cool thing. It's a cool exercise that we can all get involved with and kind of inspire each other to do, is just how can we create these kind of dramatic storylines that already include our goal or our manifestation. It's a fun way of doing it. It's not like this person said, it's not just repeating the scene over and over again. And it is kind of more of an advanced way of doing things. It presupposes that the manifestation that we already want exists, and it's creating a different story, a new narrative with that presupposition already within the story. So somebody said the first tip is genius. Can't wait to try it out. Let's see. What was the first tip again? Okay, yeah, the fake desire that you'd have once you'd have the desire. Okay, so yeah, for example, that's another one. Like with the trip thing, let's say, you're manifesting the SP, and instead of just manifesting the SP, your desire is now that you and your SP are on this trip, or that you guys are on this honeymoon, or that you guys are staying in this particular suite or at this particular hotel. These are just examples that are coming to my mind right now as I'm going through this. Somebody said, oh my gosh, why did I just visualize us arguing over who's supposed to cook dinner tonight? Oh, well, I love this technique of yours already. I don't have to visualize, only happy/good moments, apparently. So we got a comment here. I'm so glad that I'm not the only one following this technique. I call this 3 steps ahead. This right here is the trick. When you imagine as 3 steps ahead, then you already imagine the person who has lived that desire, and it's already become something that's already happened. This is where you crack thinking from and not thinking of. And that's what's cool about this. It is kind of like a hack to immediately shifting to the thinking from rather than thinking of. I hope that you guys are getting that. So I was just explaining the law to a newbie and gave her an example of manifesting free coffee. I asked her not to imagine or do sats as being asked if she would like a free coffee, but rather imagine a scene that occurs after she has had her free coffee. I advised her to do sats as someone who already had her free coffee. She slept that night imagining a scene where she was sharing with me that she got invited for a free coffee, and of course, within 2 days, she did end up with her free coffee in the 3D. I also want to share a personal experience. When I wanted to attend a program in a city far away from my home country, instead of imagining the selection or flight or whatever, I picked a restaurant of the city that I desired to be in and imagined myself choosing what I would order from their menu. Now, what happened here was that I was making a decision in my imaginary scene. So this means that I was thinking from the state of already having being the person who's in the city, sitting at that restaurant. Very, very delusional, but it's funny that we label these things as delusional for happy scenes, and for just sad scenes, we put them as being practical. Yeah, that is funny, huh? That's that human tendency to go towards negativity. Anyway, this obviously worked for me, and I'm happy to report that I'm writing this comment from the city that I desired to be in. I'm yet to have my meal at that restaurant though, haha, but the technique got me here. Thank you for breaking it so nicely in your post. Very certain that this will happen to so many people. Okay. Yeah, these are really cool little stories here. So I love the drama tip. I'm at the point with manifestation where it comes near instantly and I'm getting a tad bit bored. Drama is exactly what I need. You guys and your drama, man. I really don't. It's really funny, man. Okay. What is your secret that your manifestations come near instantly? I get mine usually, but it takes anywhere from a day to a week. So first things first, imagination is your true reality. Satisfy yourself in imagination and don't give a fuck about your outer world. Once you pick up on this, your manifestations will fly into your life. This is because you're relaxed, nonchalant, satisfied in your imagination, and not panicking in your outer world. I'm almost arrogant about it in a sense. I casually daydream, imagine, write, and giggle to myself. I know I already have my desires and wishes. Persistent imagination and detach from your outer world. Yeah. Yeah, people that are a lot of the times people that are geniuses, like what are mainstream people consider to be geniuses, like Albert Einstein or Elon Musk or anybody that you think of throughout history, they tend to be very eccentric. Most people look at them as being a little bit strange. They're not very well integrated into society because their visions are so big that everybody else is like, what the heck's going on with this person, right? But that's almost what she's describing here. Imagining going around and just living in your imaginary world and just like giggling to yourself. Can you imagine just walking down the street and just giggling with giddy happiness because of what you're entertaining in your mind? That's almost what this person is saying, is that like that is how you would be when you're that detached from your outer reality. And you literally couldn't care less about what is showing up in the 3D right now, because that the energy that you're putting out is this happy, joyous energy of the wish fulfilled, right? So I like that response. So what about when you get persistent negative thoughts? Simply correct them. So when you get to a negative thought, you immediately go, you're not doing that here. We're not doing that here. And then insert an affirmation or a scene of your choice. It's going to be a challenge in the beginning, but I promise you, your brain will change for the better. It's like my brain autocorrects itself whenever I have a negative thought or think bad of myself. It's amazing. That's a cool little visual there too. Like the same way that you get autocorrect on, typing on your phone or when you're typing on the computer. It's like you have a negative thought and you just imagine it autocorrects in your mind. That's a cool visual. I hadn't heard anybody describe that before. Okay. Somebody asked, why are the negative thoughts, why does it keep recurring? So somebody answers here, self-concept, your internal state. Yeah. But that is, the self-concept is part of your thoughts. I mean, the self-concept and the thoughts, they're interlinked. Now when I get it, when I hear make manifesting fun, or it should be fun. I cannot see how to make it more fun, and now your examples easily show you how you've made it fun. Thanks. Yeah, and that's good. This is really good stuff because yeah, a lot of people get very, and I have a tendency to be like this. I can get very serious about things. I can become very, dialed in and focused and kind of just, sometimes people say that I look very intense because I probably do. I am feeling intense. I'm very focused, right? And I can be very serious when I have a serious goal or a serious pursuit something that I'm trying to execute in a certain way. So this is really good. This gets us back loosened up into this fun, childlike state again, where we are just having fun with the process, enjoying the process. I love the art of acting and embodying a character, aka estates. Yeah, this is something that I really miss, to be honest with you. I used to act when I was really young. I was in plays, I was in a commercial, and I really truly miss that. I may go ahead and just take some acting classes or something because acting is another way. It is switching states. That's what people that are good at acting, method actors, or even just people that act without, I guess, self-ascribing the word method acting to it. It's what makes a good actor is, are they able to shift into that character? Are they able to shift into that state? And you see the greatest actors, one of my favorites is like Christian Bale, and how he's able to just completely almost transform himself. He was like super skinny in The Machinist, and then he was pretty jacked in Batman and American Psycho and these other movies he's been in, and he can really transform his entire kind of personality, and it's really, really awesome. Watching people that are really good at acting is really cool, and it's also another way that we can model and learn from watching others what it looks like to be in a certain state by watching the characters that they portray on screen. Yeah, so there's some more comments in here. People are just really loving this technique. I love this technique. And yeah, somebody's okay. And they're talking about it's advanced. It's not mandatory or a required way to manifest. It's what I just do to make it more fun to myself. Okay, I really want to quickly touch on this acting thing before I wrap up the video, and that would be that when you are, let's say that you are playing the role of a character. Let's say that you are hired, or you are in a play, and you are in that state of you're in a relationship in this play, and you and your loved character are sitting on the bench together. Well, you're going to be in that state of love. You're going to almost fabricate those emotions. If you have even a little bit of acting talent or skill, and we all do, because people say that, some people can act, some people can't, but we all wear these masks in public. We all have this innate ability to some level or another. You are going to slip into that state. You're going to gaze into their eyes and just like be in love with them for the moment that you're playing that character in the play. Now, it's a little bit easier in that sense because you actually have a physical person right next to you that you can engage in this scene with. But the ability to do that in your mind, like in person, is not that different than being able to do that in your mind. And when it comes to these scenes that we're imagining ourselves with, okay, we're imagining ourselves on the park bench with our significant other, just gazing into each other's eyes, as the sun sets, or whatever the scene is. Well, that scene is the same thing that you're doing, or the same thing that you see when you see the actor in a play or the actor in a movie. And any of these dramatic scenes too, you're arguing over which hotel you want to stay at. You are arguing with the or not even arguing, but maybe you're just conversing with the clerk at the receptionist at the hotel while they're upgrading your room, and they're apologizing to you for the mix-up while they upgrade your room. Well, these are all scenes that you can just have fun with, play with, and yeah, pick what works for you. If you like the argument thing, by all means, go ahead and create a scene where you and your partner are arguing about which hotel you want to stay at, or you're arguing about which car you want to take, or who's going to drive to the theater tonight, or whatever. There's unlimited possibilities, and this is what's cool. Is like, I would really like to create a community where we can kind of all like converse, because talking in the YouTube comments is great, and that's one thing, but being able to talk amongst each other and really build up a conversation is really, really awesome, because then we can all share our stories that, okay, this was a scene that I imagined, and this is like how this helped me, or this was a technique or something that I used, and it's really inspiring to see. That's why I like covering some of these Reddit posts. I know that you guys appreciate it as well. This one was really good, really cool, really fun. And so, like I said, I'm excited to give this a try myself, and I'm excited to, for any of you watching this, hear hopefully some success stories from you guys as well. So with that being said, much love as always. Drop this with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.